This right here is a DNA molecule. DNA is found in the nucleus, which is the center of the cell, and it contains all the genetic information responsible for the development and function of a living organism, just like you and I. As you can see, DNA has a rather beautiful appearance, having the shape of a spiral staircase or a twisted ladder. Inside the DNA molecule, you can see nucleotides. Nucleotides are the building blocks of DNA. Nucleotides are made up of a phosphate, a sugar, and a base molecule. As you can see, there are letters on the nucleotides. The DNA alphabet consists of A, C, T, and G. These four letters allow the DNA to specify which amino acid is to be placed along the chain of nucleotides. A stands for adenine, C stands for cytosine, T stands for thymine, and G stands for guanine. Adenine pairs with thymine, and cytosine pairs with guanine. These different codings are the codings for making different proteins. A gene is a specific part of DNA which codes for a specific trait. They are passed on to you to determine many of your individual traits, such as your hair color. An allele is an alternate version of a gene. An individual inherits two alleles from each gene, one from each parent. If two alleles are the same, the individual is homozygous for that specific gene. If the alleles are different from one another, the individual is heterozygous. We will discuss homozygous and heterozygous later into the video. Genetic information is passed to the next generations through reproduction. Sperm is the male sex cell, and the egg is the female sex cell. The two cells contain genetic information and they fuse together and fertilize to create a zygote. Through some stages of cell division, the DNA then splits and is then transferred to the child. This means the new offspring inherits half of the genes from the father and half from the mother. Each one of us inherits genes from our parents, and many combinations of these genes make us all different and unique. This is a Punnett Square. A Punnett Square helps scientists predict the possible genotypes and phenotypes of an offspring when they know the genotypes of the parents already. The phenotype is the physical appearance of an organism, and the genotype is the inherited combination of alleles. Here's an example. The two letters on the left can represent the father's alleles, and the top two letters can represent your mother's alleles. The capital letters are dominant alleles, and the lowercase letters are recessive alleles. An allele of a gene that is said to be dominant will overrule the recessive allele. Homozygous alleles are alleles in which are the same, and heterozygous alleles are different from one another. As you can see, the father has heterozygous alleles and the mother has homozygous alleles. For instance, the father's alleles could represent brown and blue eyes, and the mother's alleles could represent blue eyes. Now, let's see the Punnett Square in action. So now, we fill out the Punnett Square by combining the letters that are above them. So now we've officially filled out our Punnett Square. As you can see, there are 4 boxes in the Punnett Square, and each square represents 25%. Since there are 2 boxes that are heterozygous, that would mean that there would be a 50% chance that the offspring would have brown eyes, and 2 boxes in the Punnett Square are homozygous, so there would be a 50% chance for the offspring to have blue eyes as well. Because we know that the dominant allele overrules the recessive allele, the dominant allele will be expressed, while the effect of the recessive allele will not be shown. Genetic variation is the difference in DNA among individuals or differences between populations. Variation is important because it gives certain species a better chance of survival. Genetic variation is also necessary to a population because it enables some organisms to adapt to the environment. For example, if a population were to be exposed to a new disease or virus, because of genetic variation, some individuals would have the genes and the resistance to fight back certain diseases. In this video, we learned about DNA and its structure, how genetic information is passed down from generation to generation, how to use and what a Punnett Square is, and the importance of variation. I hope you learned something new about genetic inheritance today.